The whole what?
What's your thoughts on the whole what's the girl name from Tahiry? That's her name?
Oh, Tahiri.
Yeah,
I
from that
think
show. What is the name of the show again?
marriage boot
Boot,
camp.
right, Marriage Boot Camp. What's your thoughts when she got frustrated with her boyfriend and got mad because he was zapping her, and then all of a sudden she grabbed up the two apples and hit him with the apples. Now I did not know that that one of the apples hit him in his face, on the side of his face, until I was told to go back to the video. What's your thoughts on that?
My thoughts is that when it comes to domestic violence issues or battering somebody or mistreatment, when it's a man, it's looked at as a vile situation. But when it's a woman, it's almost like light, like, you know, they could do it, but it's like innocent. Oh, she just hit him. People don't even pay attention. People ain't even pay attention to it. Like, they kept going on with the show as if it was normal. Even if she would have slapped him across his face with a backhand or whatever, they probably would have kept going on with the show. But if a man would have did it, they'd have stopped the show. They might have had him arrested. It would have been all of these interventions, all of these different things. And I understand that men are supposed to be stronger, this, that, and the third, but that does not give you the exclusive right to mistreat another person.
Mm-hmm. You're absolutely right. But I want to ask, did he go and report it? You know, some females they will antagonize a man to the point that she knows he has short temper, and she used that to the best of her advantage. And as soon as the guy will put his hands on her, she's so quick to call the cops. Why is there a problem that men don't report it like the women does?
I mean, he's probably, I don't know exactly where he come from, but if he coming from the generation I came from, a lot of times we're not gonna call the police because of ego or not being one to look at a snitch or just different things. We don't even like dealing with police in general. When she did the situation, when she did what she did to him, he basically just put his head down and he didn't even say nothing. He didn't even react. So what I see from that is he suppressed it.
Right. So I understand that not going to report it to the cops is one thing, but they was at marriage boot camp, and this
Right.
is a problem that they have, and that should have been addressed by the people that is helping them fix their marriage.
That's my point.
Mhm.
That's my point. Why did they not even look at that? They didn't even say anything. He just came out like it was regular. I know they seen it on the camera.
Mhm. Mhm. Mm. So, do you think they viewed it as she was just playing because she was popping a lot of junk, um, and she hit him? So maybe that should have been brought to their attention. Like it was brought to my attention. Like he did hit her in her face. I mean, she did hit him in his face. But sometimes we overlooked it, like you said, and it went so quickly that people probably didn't catch it. Now, with Marriage Boot Camp, for those who do not watch that show, it comes on every, was that Thursday?
Yeah, I think so.
And right, every Thursday. And these are celebrities that are having problems with their marriage. So they go to I can't remember the judge name at the time, but they go to her and another
Judgment Call.
right and Dr. Ish, and they get help. And at the end of the amount of weeks that they're there, their marriage supposed to be a little better, or people were able to express themselves much better. So this particular situation, he should have went and spoke to Dr. Ish and the judge, because it's an issue and maybe she have done it before. That's why he didn't say anything. What's your
Right.
thoughts on that?
I think she probably has done it before. She probably, well, she was like, she was the whole time she was putting him down, like trying to disrespect him as a man, calling him a little boy. And then that same day she was saying how he doesn't pay the bills and this, that, and the third. And it was all because of the little thing that they had them do with the shocking thing. That's what they agreed to do as a couple as far as therapy. But she got mad because of the therapy and she decided to verbally abuse this man.
Okay, can you explain what the chakra thing that you're describing?
The shock thing was basically
An
um
exercise, I think it was.
size inside of the therapy where they both put on a bracelet or something like that, and they had a controller where they could give somebody a light shock anytime that the person does something that gets on their nerves. So, a lot of times people have these little passive aggressions or these little things that get on people's nerves, like their what do you call it, pet peeves, and people don't say anything until it builds up. They're like, yo, why you drinking out of the milk container? They'll see somebody do it 20 times, but then that 20th time they'll flip out like, yo, I'm tired of you drinking out of the milk container. So instead of the person just letting it build up, they'll give them a light shock, like, yo, I don't like when you do that. So now they can start the conversation, like, okay, why you shocked me when I drunk the milk? I'm like, oh, because I never liked when you drink out of the milk container. Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, that is something that I really do not like.
Hmm. Wow. So she wasn't playing fair, basically.
Right.
Hmm. So she got frustrated and pretty much threw an apple at what is he, her husband or her boyfriend?
Supposedly boyfriend. I think it's a fake relationship.
Well, we can't judge. We can't judge what people have going on um in their relationships or in their household or the celebrity status. However, the main key of it was she took it upon herself and threw items at him. And this is where we need to have conversations like this, whereas females are aggressive. Females do, some females, not all, want a man to react. And I guess that's one way of showing them that they love them, I guess. Because a lot of females and males have been, um, I want to say, abused for so long that the only way they feel like someone care about them is if they being abused back.
Right.
So overall, Tahiri was absolutely wrong for hitting him with the apple. And as I was told, the Breakfast Club was talking about it. Did you hear about the Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
And what is your thoughts on that?
The Breakfast Club was basically going at Vado, saying that he was completely wrong. It's never acceptable for him to do that. But see, it was skewed for them to even talk about that on the Breakfast Club because Angela Yee brought it up, and that's her ex-boyfriend. So everything was about Vado being wrong or whatever. I don't know if it was because of her former relationship with him, but that's what they were saying. But then you had Charlemagne, the God, basically saying that he doesn't even watch the show. But from that clip, he was making his assessment, saying that this unacceptable and this, that, and the third. And I don't think DJ Envy watched the show either, but he also was making that assessment.
Right, because I think at the end of the show with Marriage Boot Camp, Vital was sitting there while Dr. Ish and the judge were standing there talking to them and explaining about the whole process of the shocking um, exercise. Vado was very quiet. Tahiry was talking, and next minute, you know, Vado got up and he not necessarily choked her. I think he more or less grabbed her by her shirt, and everybody's like,
Right.
But meanwhile, everybody that was a part of the marriage boot camp that played the exercise as well saw everything that happened with the apple, and no one basically spoke up on it. And this is where we have issues, whereas not really issues. It's more like females is getting more service than men regarding domestic violence, and men are being abused as well. So I think and I believe this Zoom is supposed to be on business. I think and believe that we need to change the narrative on how um, things is being done or told, or more resources for men as well, because once again, men are being abused either as verbally, physically, because right is right. I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong all around the board. And when a woman put her hands on a man, that's still wrong.
I agree.
Right. So, as I was told, it's only one shelter for men out here or
In the
across the
in the whole
board.
country.
Right. So even though once again we've still been talking about business with uh, people who said they was going to be a part of the Zoom, however, this is still a business conversation regarding domestic violence and the services that men need, and maybe more shelters for men as well, because men, they don't just get abused from home, they get abused all around the board, as in work, um, family, they street homies or whatever the case might be. People talking down to them, disrespecting them, um, especially color men. Um, and then you got they be so quick to females be so quick to call the cops, and next thing you know they going to jail and they being abused there, verbally, emotionally, you know. And then when they come home, it's um, back in the poverty upbringing where they were before, and just a whole psychological impact on men. And a lot of us females do not take out the time to talk to our men. A lot of us are so busy degrading the men and calling them the B word and disrespecting them. That is verbal abuse. And men need to start opening up and saying something. Say something. Say something. Because how will we know that you are a victim of domestic violence if you do not speak on your truth?
I don't think the average person looks at it as domestic violence. Like they just look at that as the culture. Like some of them may have came up in households in which their mothers or their aunties or their brothers and sisters also constantly talk to them in that way. So it becomes normalized, and they don't see anything wrong with somebody calling them N word or B word or any of those derogatory statements, and that's how they tend to look at themselves. They look at it. They said the N word is a term of endearment when we really know that it means that a person is ignorant or a person is lazy or a person is this or that. So they don't really look at it as domestic violence, but they are taking the consequences of somebody constantly talking down to them. I remember
Mhm.
I had a former relationship with a person, and every time she spoke to me, it was like, oh, well, big head or something derogatory. And I'm like, yo, why every time you say something to me, it got to be something derogatory? Why you can't just call me my name? Like, and it was like, she said, oh, well, I didn't mean nothing by it. It was just, I'm just playing around or whatever. But I'm like, nah, I don't prefer to be addressed in that manner. So, a lot of times people don't really pay attention to the words that they use to describe a person or the way that people are describing them until somebody brings attention to it to them.
Right. Well, I mean, this is, you mentioned something that makes a lot of sense because um I remember I have a cousin and she's like she used to be word all the time. Hey B, and I had to let her know like, what am I to you? She said my cousin. I said okay. What is my name that that you and I was introduced when we was kids? And she said Shanice, and I said okay. So where did the B word come from? Because I don't use that word on you when I address you. So I would like you not to use that word, when you say hello to me. And once I established that with her, it was like, hey, cuzzo, one of those things. So it really matters how you feel and how the person take it and how the person what they do with that information once you explain to them that you're hurting me or I don't like it, and you really matter. You know, and if a person don't respect how you feel, then maybe that's not the person that you really need to be around or conversate too long with, or just show them by teaching them how to treat you. And that is my model. You got to teach people how to treat
I think many of us have really been indoctrinated with this detrimental and this talk, this basically demeaning talk to each other, because I don't really see too many other groups that actually call themselves derogatory statements on a regular basis. Like the way the N word is used, you don't see other racial slurs being used with other groups as a term of endearment. So I think that's something that really needs to be analyzed and looked at for us as a people. And when we raise up the next generation of people for our group, I think that's something that really needs to be enforced. Like, why would you call yourself something that's derogatory when no other people are doing it?
Well, I can't really say no one else is really using those words because nowadays, we got the Caucasian people that want to act like they're us, and I have heard, some females that will say the B word to one another and things in that nature, and I'm looking like, wow, or hey, my nigga, the dudes would say that to one another. So I really I don't want to say it's just our culture. I do believe that other cultures are doing it, and maybe we're not around them as much, but I'm sure other cultures. I'm not sure what other race, what other culture is doing it, but I know others are doing it. Like I said, I have a couple of Caucasian friends, and I have heard those words come out the B word.
Right.
Um,
I'm not
so,
arguing at
hmm
all about that. I'm not saying that, but they're using the word. See, we influence all culture. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but like we was the first ones to create rock and roll music. We was the first ones with hip hop, and then everybody else followed behind. So they're
hmm
using words that black people use in regular talking. But do you hear them say, "Hey, what's up, my cracker? What's up, my spick? What's up,
hmm
my?" You don't
no,
hear these words.
hmm
That's what I mean by that. I'm saying
hmm
use terms, derogatory terms that demean their race as terms of endearment.
okay, okay, yeah, that's definitely true. I can definitely agree on that one with you. Um, so this is when we have to start changing the narrative. I know a lot of people that I am around. They say king and queens. You know, they address themselves as that versus the B and the N word. You know, and you also have to surround yourself around people that's like minded, and as as you being a like minded person, as the other people that you're around is like minded, y'all can bring that attention to those who are still speaking in that type of language, and you could bring that attention to them and let them know you're not that. Don't let no one disrespect you.
Definitely. I think we
Right.
definitely have more workshops or after school programs where we reinforcing that with the youth. Um, I think the best way for us to do that would be to recruit some people in that age group and give them the knowledge so that they could better spread that information to people within their age group, because we don't want to be looked at as if we're trying to instruct the youth in what to do because they will rebel. So they need
Mm-hmm.
somebody that's influential within their group to be on the same type of time.
Gotcha. You made a great point. So I want to basically say thank you so much for tuning in, and I would like for you to let us know who you are and how can they reach you.
Okay, my name is Joseph Ali. I actually go by the name the God I Be. It's not only my righteous name, it's also a handle that I use on Facebook. You can reach me on Facebook at the God I Be. I'm also on Instagram as I Be God Allah 77. Um, and those are basically my social media handles. But you can also reach me at I am phenomenal unlimited at gmail.com.
That's good. That's good. Once again, I am Shanice Gatewood Ali. I am the CEO and founder of We Are Phenomenal Women. And today's topic was on business. How do you start up a business? What is your business plan? However, we didn't have enough people to talk about that. So I do want to thank the brother who tuned in. And this topic was very important to discuss as well as the business plan. But I believe that we need to bring more light to domestic violence on the men aspect as well. So, females, whoever that's going to listen, please stop abusing your men. Thank you.
Peace.